Hello, this is your big sis, Rowena Starling, checking in with you right quick. It has been brought to my attention that some of you may not be wanting to get rid of your fear because you feel that your fear is keeping you safe, that it has a function in that respect. And there is a degree of truth to that, but my service does not have you get rid of fear that's keeping you safe. We get rid of fear that's keeping you trapped. There's a difference. Like, for instance, in my own life, when I recall some very deep fears that I've had, well, let's say the one that I had when I was, well, there are a couple of instances. My very first deep fear was many years ago when I was working at my first job, and I was miserable. And the fear was that if I stayed, if I quit the job, then I would have no money. I would become homeless and hungry. And that was a very legitimate fear that keeps a lot of us in place, in check, right? But I was so miserable that I thought, well, you know, what would happen if I just quit my job? Would I just cease to exist? Mind you, this was well before Reagan let all the crazy people out of the crazy house and put them out on the street and created this homeless situation that we have here. But I think had I had that example, I may have stayed at that job and been, I don't know what I'd be today. But so that was the first one. So I quit the job. I did not cease to exist. The struggles I had from having no money only made me stronger. You know, that was part of the adventure, really. I think too, again, about the fear I had when I, left my son's father, my ex-husband. There was a fear there that if I didn't leave, that he would begin to, I would waste into nothingness and despair and misery again. And I had a fear of telling him that I was leaving because, then I might get a whooping. Wasn't into getting a whooping, ever. I don't want to have to kill anybody now, god dang. So that was a real fear. So I didn't tell him, I just left. I covered my bases so that I couldn't be found. So fear does have its place. But when you're immobilized by fear and it's keeping you trapped, for instance, if I was not brave enough to figure out a way to get out on my own without being detected, I was very vigilant afterwards, of course, but my point here is there are fears that keep you trapped. And these fears that keep you trapped help to perpetuate the misery that you're experiencing in your life. And that is what I do, is help people get rid of the fears that keep them trapped. So there is no worry that you need to have about if I lose my fear, it's keeping me safe. It's keeping me from getting a beating, let's say. Yeah, well, that's a reasonable fear. We don't want you to get a beating, but we don't want you to be so afraid that you don't figure out how to get out of the situation that is getting you the beatings. We don't want you to be so afraid that you think you'll starve or something like that if you don't leave and be homeless. There are homeless people, but that's a deeper conversation that we can have sometime. We don't have time for that today. But just know that it's not just you that's at work here, you know? The first thing you have to do is to recognize your divine power within. It will not just abandon you and have you prostrate on the ground and withering away. That's not why you're here. Maybe it is why you're here. If that's why you're here, then it's going to happen anyway, regardless of what it is you try to do to avoid it. But if that is not what part of what your dreams are about, it's not part of what you really want in your heart, that's not going to happen. So that's the first thing you do, is recognize that you have this power, the divine power that is giving you the information that you don't have to stay, that's giving you the information that this is wrong, that's giving you the information that's encouraging you to make a change. That's your divine power speaking to you. Tap into that. That's number 2. Tap into your divine self and allow it to rescue you. Be brave. Know that it's got you. Won't let you fall. It's fine. You know, and it's okay to go along and to get along and then get out. Anyway, that was what I wanted to talk to you about today. My service does not get rid of fear that keeps you safe. It gets rid of fear that keeps you trapped. Hope you had a nice holiday. It's ongoing. This is holiday season. I'll talk to you again soon.